Hi, I'm DelusionDispeller, and this is part 3 of The Good Doctor. So here is the interesting thing about Max's situation. Even though it seems like the good doctor, Dr. O, had all the control, Max was actually allowed to still make short trips on his own to buy dance items or food or some little insignificant things that he needed. So why did this doctor, who seemed all so controlling and in need of being seen as Max's savior, why did he let Max make these trips on his own? Let me explain. Think about the reason Max was able to drive to the market or take short trips. Once a controller has you properly trained and programmed, you won't dare try to think for yourself. You will merely obey what is in your programming and go through all the motions to carry out the controller's wishes. Dr. O had convinced Max that he needed the doctor for his very sanity and health. Without the doctor, Max could not thrive or know what move to make next. Dr. O had created a very tight dependency or trauma bond with his client at this point. Max would not dare to get out of line. He might spiral back into his addiction. He might lose his career, or he might even die. Although the doctor managed to keep Max's ex-girlfriend for a while from getting through to him on the phone and seeing him, it only took her about 6 months into the relationship of watching Max to realize that Dr. O had an uncomfortable amount of control over him and his career. She even noticed Dr. O controlled his money and his social life. She ultimately decided to get together with someone else that was very close to Max and report what she suspected as financial fraud and psychological abuse. When I talk to you on my videos, how long is it I usually say before you will notice somebody showing their true colors, before the narcissist takes off their mask? I usually tell you 6 to 9 months is the common amount of time. The reason for this is that a narcissist, although crafty at what they do, can only keep up a facade for so long. They can only be phony and stuff down their feelings for so long before you start noticing cracks in the phony exterior. So, their true colors begin to show. You start seeing the narcissist as they really are deep down underneath, and they don't want you to see that. Which leads me to the next fact. Narcissists cannot handle being questioned, criticized, or suspected of anything, even if it's perceived to be something that you may be questioning them or being suspicious of them for. Dr. O felt like he was under a microscope after a while. When anyone would show concern about how he was taking over for Max or giving him too much medicine, or when they questioned his decision-making processes regarding Max's career or who Max hung out with, Dr. O showed anger, defensiveness, and even used lies to answer anyone's questions about why Max couldn't associate with anyone. Sorry, my cats are making noise. So I'll say that again. Dr. O showed anger, defensiveness, and used lies to answer anyone's questions about why Max couldn't associate with anyone or seemed to have an unhealthy dependency on the doctor and wasn't allowed to do things he used to enjoy doing. Dr. O would change the subject completely and even threaten people, asking too many questions or confronting the doctor, and the doctor felt like his very self was under attack, so he had to ward off any person who dared to see him as a threat to Max. Dr. O saw himself as the only hope for Max, yet Dr. O was hiding his own low self-esteem and extreme insecurity behind this savior complex. Dr. O hid these things by seeming so sure of himself and insisting that nobody was a better doctor for Max than he. He cited all the patients he had helped in the past, of course, and how everybody just really looked up to him. He knew exactly what Max needed at any given time, so everyone else just needed to move aside, butt out, and let him continue his fine work. Dr. O even boasted about this to people, and if anyone dared to think otherwise, he would snap immediately. He must always be seen as infallible by others, and Max must always trust that about him as well. And shame on anybody who plants seeds of doubt about the good doctor. Stay tuned.